If you are a fighting fan, I'm sure you already heard about this device. It has exceptional D-pad and 6 face buttons. Many people were dreaming about something like this for years, and now it is finally here. There is even a dual boot model with Android on top of Linux that I personally prefer. Why? Because this D-pad is just too good not to take the full advantage of it. And there's plenty of benefits in having native Android OS, let me tell you. So, is it worth the hype? Let's find out! The peak of my fighting career was around the year 2000 when I was playing Mortal Kombat 4 on my PC on an actual keyboard. So my first experience with the real D-pad was around the time I get my first PSP, which has pretty solid D-pad, same as Vita, 3DS or Switch Lite. They are all solid, but this D-pad is on the next level. It is made by Anbernic and it is on the device called RG ARC with 2 variants, D with 2 gigs of RAM and Android, and S with single boot Linux and 1 gig of RAM. The rest of specs are pretty much same, 4-inch 4x3 LCD, CPU is Rockchip 3566. First thing that I have noticed when I get it into my hands was the size. It is quite a bit larger than I expected and I like it. I've got large hands, so it's about ideal size for me. The shape is also nice. They did good job with the design in my opinion. Everything is in a correct spot. Even bumpers and triggers are easy to press without shifting my grip. They are not clicky, they're more like a Vita bumpers with membranes. Everybody's talking about that cool D-pad and 6 face buttons, and I gotta agree, that's what sets it apart. That's what makes it special and one of a kind. Cause indeed, there is no such handheld on the market right now, only this one. Congratulations Anbernic, and huge thanks to Geek for sending this device over for an honest review. This configuration has its benefits, but clearly it also has its limitations, like the lack of joystick. So many PSP and Dreamcast games will not be playable, even though the chip is strong enough to emulate them. But is it really a disadvantage? I don't think so. I think if anybody is gonna buy this device, they know exactly what they want. Exceptional D-pad, 6 face buttons, 4x3 screen and no joystick. I didn't really like Quallty RGB30 with 1x1 square screen, cause in my opinion it was too niche. But you prove me wrong. I've seen so many of you liked it and I think this device is gonna appeal to even broader audience, cause there are so many fighting fans. I would also argue it's not good just for fighting games. Why would I limit it to fighting games when proper D-pad is essential for plenty other genres like platformers or racing games or on-rail shooters, or I don't know about you, but I love to play most of PS1 library with D-pad. GTA, Tony Hawk, Crash, Spyro. The better the D-pad, the more fun. PS1 emulation on this device feels great. This D-pad is very precise. You can either push it all down and play like that, or you can push down just the sides. And that's what I prefer, just the sides. Dreamcast emulation also very enjoyable. You can either play via standalone emulator or via built-in RetroArch core, which perform better according to my testing than the standalone Flycast, but I guess it all depends on the game. Soul Calibur was fun. Here besides fighting games you can also perfectly enjoy on-rail shooters like Res or House of the Dead 2, or even something like Zombie Revenge. It's blast to play it with solid D-pad, Ikaruga, Crazy Taxi 2, all playable. For the purist, I gotta say, you will see some frame drops with the hard to emulate games with auto frame skip turned off. I'm not a purist, so for me it was very enjoyable. If they would put some stronger chip inside, that would be even better, but also more expensive. And they put inside one that's readily available and cheap. Also guys, like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. Sega Saturn emulation via standalone Yaba Sanshiro, pretty good. Plenty games were playable full speed. Panzer Dragoon 2 and Darius Gaiden 60 FPS even without auto frame skip. But Nights into Dreams or Panzer Dragoon 1 around 50 FPS. If you turn on auto frame skip, it is much better. So pretty much same case than with Dreamcast. Not all games are gonna be running full speed, but I mean there is plenty fun to have in here. 6 face buttons are not the highest quality, but they are working reliably good. ABC are bit concave and XYZ bit convex, but it's only tiny bit, you can barely feel the difference. Primal Rage was glitched out, I think it was bad ROM, but I'm sure Saturn Bomberman ROM was correct and I still couldn't make it run, no idea why. I've also tried old school DOS games like Dangerous Dave 2. Here you also need good D-pad for proper aiming, and it passed my Dave 2 test. Prince of Persia, same, you need good D-pad to play this game effectively, and I was able to do that, without any hassle. Now to my favorite part, PSP Emulation. Tekken 5 and Tekken 6 are running good, here and there some frame drop, but if you turn on auto frame skip it is good. Need for Speed Most Wanted and Underground Rivals also very good. You can play these racing games absolutely fine, cause you don't need joystick, you can steer with D-pad. Street Fighter 3 Alpha, Metal Slug XX, Mega Man Maverick Hunter, all running fine. However, same thing here, harder to emulate games are gonna be slower, that's for sure. Same with N64 Emulation, Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 were fine, but Wave Racer had some audio issues and slowdowns. So, the Linux only version is about $20 cheaper, but I still think the dual boot with Android is far better deal. Right now you can get it for around $105 including shipping and taxes, which is not a bad price for the ability to run native Android games and emulators. Unofficial port of Hollow Knight was running surprisingly good, and with this D-pad it felt amazing. Cuphead was also quite enjoyable, but I felt when there were many enemies on screen it was a bit slower. Super Meat Boy, full speed. There is no Play Store out of box, you can easily install it or you can just sideload everything, whatever you prefer. It is running Android, so you have access to emulators like Dolphin. There isn't many games that you can play full speed, cause this chip is just too weak. But here I found 2 for you that run absolutely fine, Alien Hominid and WarioWare. They feel great with this D-pad and as you can see, they are fully playable. Now to my final thoughts, what I like, what I don't like. I like the idea behind this device, I think it's very innovative. Clearly D-pad is amazing and 6 face buttons are not bad either. Speakers are loud, not the highest quality. Shape is comfortable and the price is very competitive. What I don't like it is not strong enough, and just cause of that I wouldn't buy it. I want something more powerful, and finally I found it. Odin 2. It has great D-pad and it can do so much more, but it of course also costs more. However, I was willing to do this trade-off, cause it's a great deal for Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. And what about you? Should you buy this device? If you consider it, I would definitely go for the Android version, even if it would mean you could only play extra games like Hollow Knight, Alien Hominid, Super Meat Boy, for 20 quid more, why not? There is even the built-in app for mapping physical buttons on touchscreen, which comes in very handy. In the end, it's always up to you. I don't know what you prefer. If you prefer Linux, buy Linux. If not, buy Android. Thanks to you for watching. Check also other reviews to have better picture. Thanks to members and patrons for support. Peace out.